Hello, you are listening to the Pleasant Spirit podcast with your hosts, legally blind licensed massage therapists, Kyle and Kelsey Pleasant. On this show, we talk about the messy, beautiful process of living a more intentional life. Whether you're into self-care, soul care, or just trying to stay sane in a noisy world, you're in the right place. Now take a deep breath, and let's begin.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pleasant Spirit podcast. I'm Kelsey, and I'm here with my favorite co-host and husband, Kyle. Today, we're talking about something that's honestly saved my sanity more times than I can count. The idea of a spiritual gym.
Yeah, and before you picture us in the yoga pants doing downward dog in the living room, let's just say this isn't about breaking a sweat, at least not physically. It's about keeping our spiritual muscles in shape, just like we go for walks or, try to keep our bodies healthy. We need regular spiritual practices to keep us steady when life gets bumpy.
Totally. And I mean, if you listen to our Plinko episode, you know life loves to throw those curveballs. For me, my spiritual gym is honestly my daily train ride. I know, it sounds weird, but hear me out. I used to dread that commute to my massage job, the crowds, the noise, the guy who always eats tuna sandwiches at 7 a.m., but I started using that time to just breathe, listen to a meditation, or even just notice the way the sunlight hits the window. It became this little pocket of peace, and it helped me not lose my mind when work got stressful.
That's such a good example. I think a lot of us forget that spiritual practice doesn't have to be this big dramatic thing. It's those small regular moments, like you said, just noticing the sunlight or taking a breath. And when things get tough, those habits are what help us cope. It's like if you've been working out, you're stronger when you need to lift something heavy. Same thing with spiritual fitness.
Exactly. And, building on what we talked about in our Joy is Our Birthright episode, it's those little daily practices that help us find joy even when everything else feels chaotic. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. And sometimes that's all you need to get through a tough week.
So let's talk about what actually goes into a spiritual routine. I mean, there's meditation, sure, but there's also journaling, mindful walks, even just sitting quietly with your coffee in the morning. For me, it's about finding what fits into your life, not forcing yourself into someone else's mold.
Oh, for sure. And I'm a big fan of journaling, but I'll be honest, some days my journal is just a grocery list with a doodle of a cat, but it's still a moment to check in with myself. And I know you, Kyle, you've got your own routine, right?
Yeah, and I got to give credit to Wayne Dyer for this one. He always talked about gratitude, and I remember reading something he wrote. I think it was in The Power of Intention, or maybe it was another book. I always mix them up. But he said to start and end your day with gratitude. So I started keeping a gratitude journal. Even on days when everything feels overwhelming, just writing down 3 things I'm grateful for helps me reset. It's like no matter how chaotic things get, I've got this anchor. I've been using our Pleasant Spirit Wellness app to keep track.
I love that. And, it's kind of like going to the gym. You don't always want to do it, but you never regret it after. The discipline part is hard, though. I mean, I'm not always great at routines. Sometimes I get distracted by, a new crochet project or Chloe wanting to play, but I try to come back to it, even if it's just for a few minutes. It's the coming back that matters, not being perfect.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the real growth happens. It's not about doing it perfectly every day. It's about showing up for yourself, even when you don't feel like it. That's what builds spiritual strength over time.
So let's get into why this all matters. There's actually a lot of science behind routines. They help create stability in our brains and bodies. When you have a regular practice, your mind knows what to expect, and it's easier to stay calm when life gets wild. Like when Chloe's having a meltdown or Mercury's in retrograde and literally nothing is working. I swear my phone always glitches during retrograde. Having that spiritual workout keeps me from totally losing it.
Yeah, and I think about times when we've had big changes, like when I switched jobs or when we had to adjust to new routines with Chloe. Those were stressful, but having that daily practice, even if it was just a few minutes of quiet or writing in my journal, made a huge difference. It's like the more you practice, the more resilient you become. You're not as thrown off by the unexpected.
And it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. Like we talked about in the Plinko episode, life's going to bounce you around, but if you've got that spiritual foundation, you can laugh at the bumps instead of getting knocked over by them. Even if you have to laugh cry sometimes, which, let's be real, happens a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's a good place to wrap up for today. Building a spiritual routine isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again. So you're ready for whatever life throws your way. And hey, if you miss a day, just come back tomorrow. The gym will still be there.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. We hope you find your own version of a spiritual gym this week, even if it's just a few deep breaths on your commute or a doodle in your journal. We'll be back in a couple weeks with more stories, more laughs, and probably more Mercury retrograde jokes.
Take care, everyone. Kelsey, always a pleasure. See you next time.
Bye, Kyle. Bye, everyone. Keep shining.